Gilberts. I want to welcome you to my live call tonight with a question. Do you suffer from comparities? You might say there's no such word. Well, we're beginning the word today then. For those of you that don't know me, I've been involved in network marketing for 40 years. I share a lot of what I've learned in my journey. My last 40 years on these live calls. I started in this business totally broke, sold a junk truck to get started. Put $200 into my business. Last 27 years I've been full-time in network marketing. If that appeals to you, to have a home-based business, to actually work from home. Oh man, those words have been demonized by Google and other platforms. You know, I made a post earlier today on my page, and it was talking about the importance of following up. And so I also posted it in Rank Makers, and as a matter of fact, so a guy, and there was a part in the post that I was talking about my sponsor and what he said to me. And he said that, you know, that if you're willing to go through rejection, you'll be very successful. All you got to do is go through 100 no's, and you'll be a very rich man. And so I thought, oh, okay. So my attitude toward rejection was different. I thought, okay, I can't wait till I get my first no. You know, the idea here was he was trying to teach me how to feel differently about rejection. But it was really funny. He says, you know, a guy made a comment. He said, well, that's unrealistic expectations to tell somebody they're going to become rich after their 100th no. Well, again, we have to understand what it was my sponsor was really telling me. He wasn't saying just go randomly out there on the street and go up to strangers and just say, you wouldn't be interested in the opportunity that I have that I want to give you, do you? You know, of course they're going to say, no, get out, you're a crazy man, go away. I mean, you know, when he talked about this, we were talking about in a warm market or we'll just say a warm market setting. So when he said, all you have to do is go out and get 100 no's and you'll be a very rich man, he was actually talking about in a warm market setting. But the thing about it is people are so, you know, they're so trained to basically spam on Facebook Messenger. Of course they're going to go through 100 no's a day probably, if they do enough of it, because that's just going to be the nature of that. So, here's what we want to understand, and this is the subject I want to talk about tonight, and that is comparities. Now, you might say there's no such word. Well, let's pretend there is, okay? What we're talking about is comparing yourself to others. We all do it. I did it. And I'll have to say, sometimes when I did it, it wasn't always negative the way it impacted me, okay, or what it did to me. Matter of fact, it made me more determined. I can remember in my company, there were other leaders that were ahead of me. They were just, I guess, the superstars of the company, right? They're not doing much now. But at the time, that's what they were. And so it just really made me more determined, not less determined, but more determined to make sure that I succeed. And yeah, I wanted to pass them. I was competitive. I'll have to say I was. But here's what we want to, here's where I want to go with this now is when it's not a good thing. When it's not a good thing. And we have to understand that sometimes when some people do very well, and yet you have better skills, better looks, if you want, you have better charisma, better personality, and why in the world are you not doing better than they are, or at least as good, right? So here's one thing I want you to understand is that seldom do you ever know the real story of a person's success or why they're successful. It's really true. We have to understand that sometimes when people come over into your company, some of those people come from a previous company. And I've seen this many times. And they'll bring a team with them, which is fine. It's fine. But the thing about it is they'll move across the compensation plan pretty quick, get themselves structured, get their teams in place. But we don't know that. The only thing we knew is so-and-so just started with our company this month, and look what she did. Look what she did. Oh my gosh, and then of course the uplines are trying to motivate the downlines by telling the story to make them feel bad enough so that they'll go to work. It doesn't work that way. It really doesn't work that way. It does the opposite. If anything, it discourages them because it's not real. It's not duplicatable. It's not something that most people can do. Most people don't join a network marketing company and bring a big team with them. So if you're upline, if you ever hear them use that as an example, don't imitate them, don't duplicate them, don't say that to your people because it'll just discourage them. That's all it'll do. But that's what we have to realize is that sometimes that's exactly what happens. I know that, I think, in my company, I know that in the last 2 years, I can think of 2 individuals that came over from 2 ladies from different companies, and they brought teams with them. And they moved very quickly. And then people are saying, what's the magic? What's the magic? There is no magic. You're looking for a secret formula? Please. It was simply a thing that they just brought over a team. That team used to make them money in XYZ company. Now they're not in XYZ company. They brought that team over here, and now they're making money in this company. That's right. But here's the thing. Now they got to grow that base. It remains to be seen if that's going to happen. You can bring a team over. The question is growing it. So, but what we don't want to do is compare where we are to those kind of people because it's not fair. It's not fair to you. It's not fair to you at all to do that. So don't do that. Just understand, you'll get where you want to go as long as you don't quit. As long as you put the daily plan of action and you're prospecting people and you're doing it right, talking about going through those 100 no's, right? In that sense, I was talking about a warm market. That is people that, I say warm, that doesn't mean I have a very close relationship with these people. It just means I know them, they know me. Some know me better, some less. But they know me, and that's called a warm market. And when you work a warm market and the goal is I'm going to stick with this thing, I'm going to go for 100 no's, man. Well, you're going to get enough to join you that it's going to create a base that you can grow and grow a team. Now, when you want to do it through just Facebook Messenger, sending links out and just hoping somebody's going to bite, that's going to take some time. You're going to have to do that massively to find somebody. Now, here's the other thing too. The other thing too is when you look at people who have great success, and again, it's not a situation they brought over a team. It's a situation that they were in a company that had product momentum. Most companies out there don't have product momentum because, I mean, there was a time that they did, but nobody stays in constant momentum. There's not a company out there that does that. So like, for example, when CBD was hot, right? And it was unknown, right? Nobody knew about CBD. And then all of a sudden, CBD launched, and then you saw some leaders had just their income skyrocketed, right? So this is an example of what I'm talking about. When a guy talked about unrealistic expectations, well, it's not unrealistic if you have product momentum. I can remember when I launched it in a company 21 years ago with an immune system product. We had product momentum. It was so easy to get people to look at what we do. And going back to CBD, and if you're in CBD, fine, it's great. But what I'm saying is, you get what I mean. Now you find CBD everywhere. I mean, everywhere. If you go through these towns that I live in, man, you'll get your CBD here. Now it's at Dollar General store, right? And you might have a better grade CBD oil than all the rest, right? But the point is, now the product momentum is not anything. It's just not there. A lot of it is flatlined. So the question is, once it hits a plateau, what are you going to do? What you want to do is stabilize what you have, and that's what you want to do. But again, people will mistake talent and leadership skills in those people who basically leveraged on that product momentum and made a lot of money. And it really didn't have a lot to do with them at all. Matter of fact, a lot of those same people, what happens is when it plateaus and they don't have the ballistic growth like they used to have when they thought they were rock stars and they thought all this great growth was because of them. They're so awesome. They're so wonderful. Oh my gosh. Look at me. And then when it's not happening, they're like, what's going on? What's happening? I'm not growing. I'm not Superman or Superwoman now. Then what do? Well, they look for the next cocaine fix, and they'll hop and go to they'll look for another wave, another trend. But it, doesn't always happen. And so those kind of people are not they're more, I don't know, they're more positional kind of leaders, They're looking for that wave, but when the wave isn't there, they're just sitting on the beach thinking, what the heck is going on? Okay. So here's the thing that I want you to understand is that I don't want you to compare yourself to other people not understanding these very things. Some people bring over teams. Some people have product momentum going on in their companies. Because some people will dangle the shiny object and say, come to my company, it's better than your company. Look at our people, we are growing. They grow, that's true. And then they plateau, just like they did in your company. So, understand this. Number one, if you didn't bring over a team, it doesn't matter. What you need to do is bring skill set to what you do. Skill set to what you do. We are at a place in time right now when people are quarantined at home, basically, and they have nothing but time. And you have this window. That's what you need to do. And yes, start asking people when if people that you bring in the business, start asking them, who do they know? Again, I go back to this Chinese girl she's downstairs right now working, talking to her leaders back in China, okay? She's never been involved in network marketing. I met her at a Tony Robbins event and introduced the business to her, network marketing. And then in 12 days, she puts in 165 people. Again, I don't want you to compare yourself to her. She had paid into relationships. And it's like a bank deposit. When you put money in a bank and you do it day after day after day, then when it comes time to make withdrawals, you can make those withdrawals. There are a lot of people out there like that. They have influence with other people out there. And so because they have these relationships that they have paid into over a period of years, and then they go to those people and they say, join me, they don't even care what the product or the company is. They just want to follow. That's it. Because you paid into those relationships. But some people will compare themselves to that, and they were sort of in bankruptcy when it comes to relationships. They're like, I really didn't have time to spend much time with my friends or keep up with everybody. I have a Facebook page, but I rarely go to it, and I rarely contribute, and I don't engage in other people's pages. Okay. So just understand it, with that kind of person, it's going to be slower. It's going to be very slow. And then they're going to look at someone like that girl I just mentioned and say, what the heck is going on? She's flying. She's killing it. I'm going nowhere. Okay. And that's why. How many relationships did you pay into? Because you are either going to be punished or rewarded because of the life you lived prior to joining your company. Let me say that again. You're either going to be punished or rewarded for the life that you lived prior to joining your company. Now that doesn't make a person a bad person, okay? What I'm saying is we are in the people business. We're in the people business. People are our business. And some people, like this girl, they join a company and then they boom, it's like, my gosh, how did she do that? She paid into a lot of relationships. And if I'm a person that I didn't do that, does that mean I can't be successful? Nope. It means I need to start paying into some relationships. I need to start engaging in people. Are there people that can shoot up? Are there, I'm an old example, right? Old? That really hurts. Okay. I've been in my company 21 years, but, I'll go to a modern example, like Angel Fletcher, who's a friend of mine. Hear that girl 6 years ago was on food stamps? And in a couple of years, she's a 7-figure earner? Yeah, she got really busy. She started paying into relationships. In Facebook, she joined a gazillion groups. And groups that were geographically specific to cities in states that she wanted to work. So she joined those groups, made those friends, paid into those relationships. She paid into them. And then she'd reach out and say, hey, I'm coming to your town, man. Get all your fat ladies together, because I'm going to show you how to lose weight. And that's what she did. And so her and Ryan just hit the road. So they were using social media, tapping into Facebook groups specific to the cities that she geographically wanted to work. And then they'd offer free products and free this and whatever, and attract people to that meeting. And then they killed it. They crushed it. So again, methodology is important. If we want things to change, we have to change. If we want things to get better, we have to get better. Wasn't it Jim Rohn that said that? So that's the thing that we got to look at. In other words, I want to encourage you, okay? I'm just saying, first of all, don't compare yourself to others, because you don't know their circumstances and how they grew so fast. I even saw an article on Business from Home, and it had to do with a couple that just joined this new company. By the way, that company's out of business now, but it was maybe 2 years ago, and I couldn't believe it, but they actually published the article and said this couple made $1 million their first month. And it said, well, I guess that's network marketing. Now, if I'm a person that's just got involved in network marketing and reached $1 million their first month, how do they do that? Boy, I must suck. I'm terrible at this. I guess I shouldn't be in this business. I mean, I'm working on my first $100. What a ridiculous, irresponsible article that was. Because the real truth was the company paid them to come over to bring their team over, and that was the deal. The deal was they would get $1 million if they agreed and did what they were asking them to do. But that's not an income that you generate from a downline. That's a deal. It's what we call backroom deals, and they never, well, they worked for that couple. How many people are going to get those deals? I don't even get those deals, okay? Nor would I want that kind of a deal. Because my downline leaders could not get that kind of deal. If they can't get it, I don't want it. That's right. I want to go through the same thing my leaders go through. The same experiences. So the thing about it is, we don't know the story, and that's the reason why you never need to compare yourself to people that skyrocket, okay? And then understand some people have done it right and that they've paid into a lot of relationships, and that's why they grew so fast in their business. And on the other hand, there's some people, like I just mentioned Angel, who through methodology, what she did, used Facebook groups and geographically targeted cities and states that she wanted to work. She did a good promo on getting people to a meeting and then, offering free product, things like that. And then just, but her and Ryan busted their butts. There's no secret to it. Great story. Myself, I was never a warm market person. I'll bare my soul to you. When I started in network marketing back in the 70s, I didn't have much of, come on, I was out of high school. And my high school friends, and they're off in universities getting their educations and then finally going into their careers, whatever that is. I didn't have much of a warm market. And so what I did was I started advertising in the local newspapers. I would just come up with these creative ads and put an ad in the paper. All I wanted to do was get the phone to ring. I said, my first goal is get the phone to ring. My second goal is to make the appointment. My third goal is show up at the appointment. That is it. And I did that. And I came to love it, actually. And here's the thing. My goal was always, once I brought that person in the business, my goal was always to tap into their warm market. See, you may not have a great warm market. That's okay. I didn't have a great warm market. But I would tap into people who did. People who had a better warm market than I had. But I understood my business is not going to fly, and I'm not going to grow fast unless I can tap into somebody's warm market. Why is that? Because this business is built on trust. I trust you. I know you. I've known you. You've done things in your life that I respect. So if you tell me something's good, hey, I'm all ears. I'm in. I'm signing up, and I don't even know the name of the company or the product because I know you. It's called trust marketing. But in cold marketing, there's no trust because they don't know you. So back then, that's what I do. I would run ads, bring people in, tap in their warm market, have them make their list. And then I say, okay, let's work together. I didn't want them doing what I did. I don't want them running ads. No way. I want them to tap into that warm market. It's the same way today. When somebody joins, I want them making that list. I don't want them posting on their Facebook page about our company and products. That's putting their whole warm market on red alert, and then they'll Google what network marketing is, and now they're not answering their phone. They're not taking your calls. So the principles never change. just the methodology. But I'm telling you, that was my methods back then in the 80s. And then later, I would advertise in the 90s in network marketing magazines. That was popular. You could find them in stores. And postcards, that was popular. Or running an ad in USA Today. That was popular back then. And then finally, it was advertising on Google. Yeah, you wanted to get your name up there. You wanted to run an ad and you wanted to target people interested in it. And then Google finally said, we don't like network marketing anymore, so we're not going to allow any more ads. I can remember when my ads manager called me and told me that. And I said, really? Well, I bet you Facebook will like taking our money now. But throughout all these decades of time, like I said, the methodology always changed. And so today, again, adapt, change, get better at what you do. There's always ways. Be resourceful. Resourceful. Remember when I was broke and I had no money to get started in network marketing? That's a fact. And that was back in March of 1993 at that time. Now, I had toyed with it for 14 years. It was a hobby. But now I was ready to commit to it, but I was totally broke. So I didn't have the money, so what did I have to do? I had to get resourceful. I had to ask different questions. How can I get started? I don't have the money, that's true. But how can I get started? Now that opens it up, the mind starts searching. Well, dummy, you're sitting on your porch looking at your junk truck. Sell it. Bing, you know? So that's what you have to do, friends. And that is just understand this. If you say, well, I don't have I don't have a warm market, Jeff. Well, that's not the issue. The question is, who can I find that does? If you don't have time, find people who do. If you don't have money, find people who have money. What does that mean? Well, it's really true. I can remember back then when I advertised, I didn't have a lot of money at all for advertising. And so, but there were some retired people that just love network marketing, but they're not so good at communicating, things like that. I said, okay, I'll tell you what, you run the ads and I'll build you a line. They said, sound good to me. Sounds good to me. Then they recoup their money from their downline. At the same time, I'm making money. Those are the things we used to do long ago. But I'm telling you, we were resourceful people. So instead of comparing yourself to others, thank you, Eden, you're very kind. Instead of comparing yourself to others and feeling bad, don't do that. Find ways, get resourceful. There's always ways to find great people out there. You can do it. And when you can, and when the whole coronavirus thing is gone, and you can come to some of the events that I've gone to where you can meet people, and we're talking about quality people, then you can sponsor some great people in your business. But you can still do that from home. Again, America, most families are at home and they have nothing but time. This is the season of harvest. You're going to see me say that from time to time now, because I couldn't, I was doing a Zoom call driving home. Well, I wasn't driving, my son was driving, but I did a Zoom call with people from all over the world this afternoon. And that's what I was telling them. You will never see a time like this again. I mean, people will never forget the coronavirus. They'll never forget the fact that the media has just pounded them about the fact that their health is not so good and they could die from this thing. And then number two is you need to work from home. But the fact is, and what I mean is this window, and this is what I mean by the window is they're home and they have time. Now there will come a time they won't be home so much and they won't have the time. because they're going to be back busy with their jobs again. And I can tell you that, again, I go back to this Chinese girl downstairs. May, she took advantage of that window of time when people in China were home and they had nothing but time. Guess what? Now they're not home, and now their time is limited because they're back in business in China again. They're busy. Their restaurants are open. Their cafes are open. People are traveling. But she understood but she told me today, she said, Jeff, I had 100 people on my Zoom call today. I said, that's pretty awesome. So that's the thing. You have the same advantage. Now in the United States or in some of the countries you're in, people are home and they have nothing but time. So don't spend your time comparing yourself to other people. What you need to do is compare yourself to yourself. And if you find hey, I'm going to do what Jeff said, I'm really going to take advantage of this window of time. I'm going to bust my butt. I'm going to go from ache to faint. I'm going to get busy. I'm really going to kill it, crush it, while people are home and I have their time. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to emerge with an incredible team. I'm going to hit that rank that I've always dreamed of. I'm going to be at that income earning level I've always dreamed of. I'm not going to spend my time comparing myself to others, because doggone it, I'm just as good as them and probably even better. If they did it, I can do it. And I'm going to prove it. See, that was the attitude I had when I came in my company, and these so-called rock stars were, thought they were, they thought they were the deal. I knew I could do it. And see, you have to have that same mindset. You have to know you can do it. But you won't get there comparing yourself to others. Just change the game. And then understand that you have a very unique situation that we have not seen this world in 100 years. Last time it was the Spanish flu of 1918, right? But look what this coronavirus has done to economies, health, societies. I mean, we've never seen anything like this. But what we want to do now is, because it is what it is, and because people are home and they have nothing but time, this is your time. You need to leverage on that. Even the president saying, teach people how to work from home. Well, teach them. Teach them. You're being a good citizen if you live in the United States and do that. And if you don't live in the U.S., you're just being smart for doing it. Just teach them. So I'll leave it at that. And tomorrow night, look forward to, speaking to you some more. You guys stay safe out there, okay? And don't plug into the fear, the negativity. That's what the media does. They want you to, stay glued to the flat screen or your phone or whatever, where you're reading the news and you're just so absorbed into fear. Be absorbed into, how do I become a light for others? How do I become a source of good news, not a source of bad news for others? How can I show people the way? That's leadership. And people attract to leadership. They attract it because there isn't the kind of leadership it's pathetic. Some of the leadership we see going on in this country. It's pathetic. But you can be that leader in your community or around people that you connect with. So do that. Don't compare yourself to others. You can do this. You can crush it. You're just as good, if not better, than the people that others are praising so much, because you don't know how they got there. You really don't know. The story is never the story. And I'll tell you, believe very little what you hear in network marketing. That's the one thing I've learned in 40 years. When I hear these stories, I'm, yep. And then I find out, well, the story wasn't the story. Of course. I'm never disappointed. So everyone, have a good evening. And that's right, Maria, the law of attraction. Think about what you want. Focus on that. You'll get there. You will get there. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you tomorrow night. If you want to share this, go ahead. And I love all of you guys. Talk to you later.